Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. So you guys have seen this trailer right here. I made a video where I showed you how I got this trailer, how I built it, how I got it this way. I also showed you guys all the equipment I put inside it. And then I told you how much I spent on this trailer and all that equipment. And I'm here to tell you today that if you want to start landscaping, you don't need any of this at all to get started. Like, you don't need 4 trimmers. You don't need 2 blowers. You don't need an entire PAS system. You don't need a hedge trimmer. You don't need a backpack sprayer. And you don't need 2 chainsaws. You don't need a mower. Well, actually, a mower is what you need, but you don't need something like this. And you don't actually need a trailer like this either. There's many other things you could do to get started landscaping. Before I tell you what you actually need, let me take you back and tell you my history and why I built this way, but why you don't have to if you want to get started. So I'm telling you right now that you don't need any of this stuff right here. Well, if you don't need it, why do I have it? Well, that's because I'm 41 years old, and when I decided to go back into landscaping, I wanted to build the trailer exactly the way I had always dreamed of having a trailer. And I wanted to outfit it with all the equipment that I knew I would use every day to earn them money. Because I know my target customer out here, I knew what would work best and what pieces of equipment I did need and did not need. Because I've been there before. I've been just like everyone else who started from scratch. I started in high school, I elevated my game in college, and after college, I took it to the next level. But I didn't do it the right way. I did it very rushed. I did it with the little money I had, and I felt like I was always saying, I'm fixing to do this or I'm fixing to do that, but I never had time because I was too busy earning money to outfit and build my trailer the way I really wanted it. So this time around, that's why I built my trailer the way I wanted. I wanted to build the trailer I'd always dreamed of to service the customers that I want to service, because that is what I wanted to do for my business this time around. Let me tell you how I really got started. Once upon a time, a long time ago, when I was a small kid, about 13 years old, you know how I got started? I used my parents' equipment. I had a 21-inch push mower that came from Sears. Yeah, Sears was a thing back then. Actually, it's where we got all of our stuff for mowing. We had an electric weed eater and an electric blower, and I had a 100-foot extension cord. And I would pile all that up on top of the bagger, and I would push my mower around the entire neighborhood, and I would mow everyone's yard that I could mow. I mean, I would mow everyone. And that's how I got started. What started as I wanted to earn just a little bit of money turned into like I'm earning a lot of money. So fast forward, I'm no longer a little kid, I can now drive. So we have upgraded our equipment. We still have the 21-inch push mowers, but now we have a gas trimmer and a gas blower, and I have a pickup truck. So I load everything up in the back of the truck. I'm still doing all my neighborhood yards, but now that I have wheels, I can go exploring other neighborhoods. And that's really when my business took off, because I was able to go to all the neighborhoods in the area, and I grew up in the Houston area, and there's tons of neighborhoods. So I was able to now be mobile, and I could get places with all my equipment. And that's really whenever I discovered that lawn mowing can be as big as you want it to be. It just comes down to how much do you want to take on. Kevin's going to college now, still doing my landscaping, but now things are different, because now in college you start to get the taste of, man, it's really easy to make money mowing yards. It's really hard to make money having a real job, you know, working for somebody by the hour. So my first year of college, I actually mowed part-time and had a job at a local place close to campus. And when I came home from the summer, I told myself, I don't really want a real job. I want to take mowing to the next level. So I bought my first commercial mower that year. I got a Exmark 36-inch walk behind. I had the same trimmer and the same blower, and we got a small 10-foot trailer. And then now I have my wheels, I have my trailer with my big mower, and that's whenever it blew up, because I learned how much faster you can mow yards with a 36-inch mower that's commercial grade over a 21-inch push mower that's residential grade. So from high school to college was my biggest jump in money making, because I realized how much faster I was and how many more yards I could do in a day. And then it came time for Kevin to graduate from college. And what did I do? Same mentality. I wasn't sure I wanted a real job. I actually got a real job, kept it for about 9 months, but I was still mowing on the weekends and my spare time. And I started doing math, and I was making more in 2 days on the weekends than I was 5 days a week at my real job. So I decided to quit my real job and take the landscaping to a different level. Now remember, I had one Exmark walk behind, a 10-foot trailer, and a blower and a weed eater. I used those for a while, but then I became so big I had to upgrade everything. So I transferred over to a 24-foot open trailer. I ended up having 2 lawnmowers, 3 weed eaters, 2 blowers, and all the accessories. But I didn't do that overnight. I did that as I needed them. So as I grew into my new customer base, I realized I needed more equipment. And then once I got so many customers, I realized I needed help. So I had to start having employees help me. Long story short, it went from being something that I could manage by myself to having multiple trailers, multiple trucks, multiple employees. And I did that for the next 4 years, and it was a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, I got kind of burned out from it because landscaping can become very demanding when you grow your business for volume. And that's what I was doing, because as a young person, I thought volume equals money. Well, that's true, but maybe volume doesn't equal the right money. And that's why I built the trailer this way, and that's why I service the customers I do, because I realize that time is money, and volume doesn't equal money to me. Quality equals money. So that being said, if you want to start mowing right now, or you want to start your own company, what exactly do you need? Well, it's pretty simple. You need a lawnmower, you need a blower, and you need a trimmer. And you need a way to get them to all the customers, but really that's all you need. You can use a truck, you can use a trailer, but it's very simple when it comes down to it. If you want to start landscaping, you only need those 3 or 4 things. When it comes to landscaping, there's really 2 ways you can go about it. It can either be a side hustle to earn a little extra income, or it can be a full-time gig. Now, I know a lot of people who watch this, especially the young kids, it's a great way to earn a living. It's the best way to earn a living as a kid. You will make way more money mowing yards than you ever will working at any store in town. The only difference is you have to be your own boss, which for me as a young kid was the best thing in the world. I loved being in control of my day and making my own decisions throughout the day. I didn't have someone telling me what to do. It can also be very demanding because you have commitments. You have to hold up your commitments. You have to do all the work you say you're going to do. But as a kid, the best way to start mowing, and if it's a side hustle, the best way to start your own landscaping, use the equipment you already have. So if you're a kid, you're already mowing your parents' yard. I promise you, if you ask your parents, can I take the equipment and start mowing other people's yards? There's no parent on planet Earth that will say, no, I don't think you should work. They're going to say, if you want to go make money, go make money. Now, if you're an individual who's not a kid and you want to start mowing on the side, the equipment you use to mow your own yard works just fine for that, because you're not trying to mow full time. You're trying to mow just here and there a few extra yards on the weekend to earn some extra income. So the stuff you have for your house, the residential grade stuff, will be just fine for you mowing if you're just doing a few yards a week. If your side hustle becomes a full-time job, there are some differences you need. Not at first, but in the long run, you're going to have to get rid of all your residential equipment and you're going to have to go commercial. So what happens when your side hustle becomes your full-time job? Well, that residential equipment you're using that got you started, it's still okay for now, but you're on borrowed time, because eventually you're going to start having failures with your equipment, because frankly, the residential equipment is not made to mow that many yards a week. For me, when I was using the 21-inch push mowers from Sears, around 40 yards a week is when I started having problems. Now hear me out on this. So a typical homeowner is going to mow their yard around 40 times a year. Well, now you're telling that mower you want to do a year's worth of work every single week. I probably went through a new 21-inch push mower about once a month, and I did that for quite a while before I finally ponied up the money and went and got me a commercial mower. Also, your weed eater and your blower, they're going to last a pretty good amount of time, but when you start having problems with them, it's time to upgrade them to also a commercial version. Now they sell Stihl and Echoes that are homeowner versions, but the commercial versions will just last longer. They're able to run the hours you need them to run and not have problems. Side hustle, residential stuff is just fine. Medium hustle, like when you're in between before you get to the big time full-time job, still okay. Full-time job, you're on borrowed time. Whenever it becomes a full-time mowing job, you're gonna eventually start having problems with your equipment, and you're gonna have to make the choice. If I'm gonna continue to do this, I'm gonna have to invest in equipment that can handle the job. So it's time to upgrade your equipment, and you go look at commercial mowers and you see the price tag of them and you go, wow, I'm never gonna be able to buy that. That's not true. Almost every single commercial mower out there you can buy at 0% financing. That's right, you can buy that with no real money. And now a lot of you are saying, well, don't finance anything. Well, I have two options on this. Cash is king. That mower is about $1,400 cheaper if you have cash money for it. It's still a $13,000 mower, but if you have cash, it's not a $14,000 mower. If you finance, there are favorable terms. I have 0% interest on that for 5 years. My note is like $150 a month. I'm gonna make that today in the first hour of mowing. So in 1 hour for 1 day for the whole month, I've paid for that mower. I didn't have to spend $14,000 of real money. And almost every dealer, when they run these deals, because they do it every year, usually in the off months, so like December, January, February, March, leading up to the mowing season, they're gonna offer such great deals to either move new models or the old models still on the floor. You can go to any brand, Skag, Exmark, it doesn't matter. It's all the same deals. You just find the right dealer that's gonna take care of you, and they will package things. So you need a trimmer or a weed eater, you need a blower, you need any other little tool, you can add that on to the bill and you can get all that for 0% financing. Now, I didn't do that for this trailer. I paid cash for everything but the mower and the trailer. So the mower is financed, the trailer is financed, and they're both financed at favorable deals that basically become a business expense for me. Because it's such a low number, it made more sense to pocket or keep my money for the trailer and the mower and pay it off as sort of a rental fee for using the equipment. I make way more money than they cost, and I will pay them off before they have problems. But that's how I can afford all this. I don't have $14,000 laying around to buy a mower. I don't have $13,000 laying around to buy a trailer. But what I do have is I have a steady cash flow of a business that can more than pay for these, usually in the first hour or two of 1 day every single month. So my first day of the month, 2 hours in, I've done paid for all my financing fees. And the rest is all cash money. And this is not the first time I financed things. My very first mower, my Exmark 36-inch walk behind, my first financing. My dad had to co-sign for me when I was in college. I walked in the door, I saw the mowers. They were much cheaper then, but I picked out a 36-inch walk behind. I got me an Echo 225 weed eater, and I got me the biggest blower I could afford. And I walked out the door $2,800 later with 3 awesome pieces of equipment. And this is at a time when I didn't think I was making a lot of money. I never thought I'd be able to pay that off. Well, when I was in college, I was making almost $1,000 a week. Turns out, when you're in college and you're living at home with your parents, it was very easy to pay off that bill. I paid that bill off in like 3 or 4 months, and then I had all this awesome commercial equipment. And then when I graduated college and took it to the next level, I went back to that same dealer. I used my credit that I had because I paid all my stuff off. I upgraded my trailer, I got a second mower, I got more weed eaters, I got more blowers, and that's how the cycle continued. Almost every single year during that slow time, I'd go visit the dealer and I would do upgrades. I would even sometimes trade old mowers in for new mowers. I would get all the things I needed for the work scope I expected the next year. And usually all this stuff was paid off within the first 6 to 8 months of doing it. Like this right here. All this will be paid off within the first year. So even though I financed 2 things, they helped me achieve my goal of having cash flow. And I'm gonna use that cash flow to pay these off and get ready for next year, because next year I'm gonna have to add more things. Next year, we plan on having a second mower. So we're gonna need to have our financing freed up. And in order to do that, we're gonna put this equipment to work to help pay for it and buy the next piece of equipment. Having all this stuff right here is super awesome. But I just told you, you don't need any of this to get started. All you need is a mower, a trimmer, and a blower, and some way to get them to the job site. But the most important thing you need to start a landscaping company, you can't buy. It's inside you. You have to have the determination to work for yourself, work hard. You need to show up to customers when you're saying you're gonna show up, do an excellent job, and communicate with everyone that you're gonna be working with. That's all you need. The biggest thing to be successful is not any of this equipment. It's what you have right here and right here, because that's really what they're buying. They're not buying a lawn mowing service. They're buying someone who is gonna take care of their yard like it's their own. And that's the biggest thing to being successful in this. Say what you're gonna do and do what you say. All this stuff right here, this is just to make that job easier. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.